Hello YouTube, this is Waynisha Smith and I will be doing a Grimm review. And we are in Season 5, Episode 10. This episode, I'm just going to get into it. I'm not going to tell you how good the show is because it is still freaking awesome. Still my favorite season. Hashtag my favorite season of Grimm. Anyway, so we start off with Monroe's uncle. And he is with antique dealer and they are talking about these books and she's showing him the books and he uses the phone and he calls his nephew Monroe that I want you to see the Grimm and I want you to tell the Grimm that I have some books that he'll be interested in as soon as possible, ASAP. So Monroe goes ahead and he calls Nick and stuff like that. But before any of that happened, we see Monroe, Rosalie, and Hank and Wu. They all go see Nick and Adeline's new home, and they're like, it's kind of homey, like post-apocalyptic sort of homey. And Rosalie brought a home basket, and Adeline's call it the phone, like home/fort. And it's just like we barely get rare peace moments now in season 5. But it's nice to see everybody in a peaceful moment, enjoying each other's company, talking to one another. But we do get some good dialogue that feed into the story, and I actually get to hear what Nick thinks. Like, we saw Nick talk to stuff, but I never felt like I got a really good in-depth feeling of what he was feeling with Adeline and stuff like that. Like, for like 4 seasons, we hated her. And there was even a time and moment where I was like, I don't care what happened to Adeline. She can die now. And I just would not care. But now she's back in my favor, and I don't want her to go anywhere. So, moving on from there, Anubis goes to the antique dealer, the lady, and Monroe uncle is just like gone. Like, she's gone. And she is, they question her for the books. They bring a knife out and she tells them like who has the books and where he went, and they kill her anyway. That right there felt to me like that was just unnecessary. Like, you didn't have to kill her. This just shows how Black Hall works. They get information out of people and they don't want no stranglers, no loose strings, and they kill them. And it shows just how much they hate people too, and stuff like that. So Monroe gets a call in the middle of the night from his uncle, like I told you, and he sends him over pictures. And Rosalie's like, "What is that?" He's like, "Oh, that's just my uncle. He sent over some Grimm posts. We can wait until morning." Rosalie's like, "No, show me them pictures now. I want to see them." And they are seeing Vesson that they have never seen before. And it's just wow. So Monroe calls over Nick and he tells Nick that we found some books and stuff like that. And my uncle wants a good price for them. And Monroe and Nick comes over and he sees the books for him, see the pictures and stuff like that for himself, and he's like, "How much your uncle want for them?" And he's like, he's working out a price, and Nick's like, "I want to see more," stuff like that. So we move from that point of view, and Monroe calls his uncle bookshop or antique shop, whatever it is, and it turns out his uncle's already on the way there to Portland. He knows for a fact somebody is following him. I'm so sorry for stuttering. I'm just trying to get my thoughts together and it's hard. But I'm going to get back to the story. So we go to the precinct, and it turns out they are talking back and forth about stuff, and I think we at a point in this show where we're comfortable with our team, and I don't think we want to anybody to get killed. We're not ready to lose anybody. Like, I know personally for a fact I'm not willing to lose anybody. But we go to Juliet, and we see her exercising, keeping her strength up so she stays perfect, the weapon that she is. And that's just perfect for me. That's just perfect for me because I'm done with Juliet. I'm done with Eve. And if we have to lose somebody that's from season 1, like I heard rumors, I'd rather we lose Juliet. I'm sorry. I'm ready to lose Juliet. Adeline's back in my favor, so we can't lose her. And not just because she's back in my favor. I have no control over the show. But she's back in my favor. I think she's back in a lot of people's favor. We're not ready to lose Adeline yet. So I think we're going to lose Juliet. I'm ready to use her. So, and then, geez, what happened? I'm so sorry, y'all. What happened? I think, oh yeah, what happened next is that, Trouble and Nick goes to see the books together. And when they come seeing it, Trouble and Nick's father, not Nick's father, I mean Monroe's uncle, they get into a moment of heat of anger. Like, I think it was more anger on the Blue Bot side than it was for the Trouble side. Because Trouble doesn't care one way or another, but she will defend herself. And the Blue Bot just did it out of anger and hatred. And then, because he was expecting the one Grimm, he wasn't expecting 2 Grimm at once. That's kind of scary. And you gotta understand, that would be scary for anybody. So, the man gives them both a price. And they're like, he's like 1,000, he wants 1,000, a high number, 1,000 something dollars. And Nick's like, we can't get that money, but we'll try our best. And we get to HW, and they're asking HW for some money. And he was like, okay, maybe we can get some money together. And Juliet was like, you guys need those books. We can really use them to build them back up. And Monroe was like, yeah, you totally burned them down. And Juliet was like, you're talking about Juliet. I am Eve. And it was funny. Monroe was like, you got any guilt over there? Because you tried to kill me. Like, that's something that everybody's still struggling with. Like, Eve's like, I don't care. But she still remembers the things that Juliet did. And that's good because I don't want to deal with the whole amnesia thing again. So after that, Nick gets a body. And to be honest, I wanted to see that fight between the 2 Anubis and Monroe's uncle. That would have been a cool fight scene. But when Nick sees the body, he sees Monroe's uncle. And he calls Monroe and tells him what happened. And Monroe sees the body, and he's just breaking up crying. I wasn't expecting that type of emotion. But then I remember to myself, had it been my auntie or uncles, I would have been crying. I want to know who did it, because I'm very close to my aunties and uncles. So Monroe's crying and stuff. He's like, at least he fought back. He fought back, got a good piece of them too. And they was like, yeah, one of them went out the window. So now they're just basically tracking down these 2 Anubis. And the Anubis already at the factory, already at the storage facility. And Monroe stands right there. He's like, you killed my uncle. The 2 Anubis just look behind them like, what? And Monroe changes, you shouldn't have done that. I love seeing Monroe get to his violent side. It's my favorite time of watching Grimm. Whenever Monroe gets just to that violent Blue Bot side. And we could tell that he's a little rusty. He's not just big and bad on his own. No, he's a little rusty. Because when Anubis almost got the better of him. But we get to see the very bad side of him where he tackles one to the ground. And he tears out their throat with his hands. Like, I love that. It shows that he has this wild instinctive side of tearing things apart. And tearing people apart. And he tears out their throat with his bare hands. And in the other one, Nick fights, and Nick's almost lose the fight to the Anubis, but Monroe tackle him to the ground and tear his throat out with his teeth. And that was just freaking great. But the problem with it for me was that fight scene was a little bit too quick. Like, I was living for this whole episode. I was living for that one fight scene, and I just wish it would have dragged on a little bit longer, but it didn't, and that's okay. So moving on from that, we get the books and stuff, and this is where things get really, really interesting. Excuse me. We get all the keys, and we get maps, we get 20 books. We're looking at Vessin we never seen before that I hope the show explores. And when I say explore, I mean I want to know these creatures, what they do, what their habits, what's their cultures and stuff. And I want to see that. I really do want to see that in the Vessin books. Even if they don't put in the show, I think Grimm, the producer, should put out a book with the Vessin names and stuff, their habits, what they do and stuff like that. That would be great. So anyway, we got the 7 keys, and now we're going on a crusade to the Black Forest, and the episode stops right there. This episode was great. I felt like we could have got a longer fight scene, but I'm satisfied with it. Comment down below. Tell me your thoughts about this episode. Oh yeah, I gotta tell you my favorite scene of this episode whatsoever. It has nothing to do with fighting or creatures. It's when Monroe was talking on the phone, was talking to Rosalie, and Rosalie was like, "How does your uncle know that you're friends with a Grimm?" And Monroe was like, "My mom told him." It shows that Vessin talk with each other. Like, you know how you try to keep a secret of who you're friends with or what you do, but your parents just flat out tell everybody else. Yeah, that was my favorite scene of the whole episode right there. So bye everybody. Have a nice day.